All right, let's pick up where we left off. We have our shots in here now. We have our title slide with our timing adjusted for our text. What we want to do now is we want to label our shots that we put in here. I have them renamed. That I did in my Windows Explorer so that they show up here. If you did not, you can do it over here in the pane. Just know that they will only adjust the name here in our project, but it will not change the name of the media in the original file or in Windows Explorer. So I want to do kind of a similar thing that we did back here on our intro. I'm going to go about a second in. We'd notice here if I zoom into my timeline, let me hold my Alt key and scroll my wheel down. Our pictures that we did insert are coming in at about 5 seconds. We'll check that out later on and see if we have enough time in there. We took a poll as a class, and the majority of the class figured that we like the concept of having the words for this picture for my establishing shot not necessarily pop up right at the beginning, but rather that we have the picture come up first. People can look at the picture and then we'll have the words come up. Now, if I just let's add the words here real quick. We'll use our text tool here. Okay. I'm not going to click on establishing shot or anything. I want them as a separate layer. I'm going to slide. If we forget the name of this, we can go up here and hover, and that's going to tell us our playhead position. I'm going to slide our scrubber, our playhead position, back to about 6 seconds. So we have about 1 second. We'll try it. We may need to adjust it. And I am going to add my text. I think for most of my shots, depending on how busy they are, I might have my text in my lower right-hand corner. You can adjust that depending on how your shots are and where you have some back screen here. So I'm going to title my shot. Same thing that we called it in our slide, establishing shot. You'll notice that it does not fit on my screen. Establishing shot. Try to keep track of your typing. Now, if you remember, I can click off of here and that kind of seals it, and we need to adjust it. So do you remember how we get the pane over here in order to edit that? One of the easy ways to do it is just go up to Window and we're going to turn on Essential Graphics. That is how we're going to edit this graphic. When I do that, I can click specifically on the graphic and the text, and this smart toolbar will let us do that. I have mine undocked. You can have yours docked here on the side. I forgot to redock it. It doesn't let me do it when I'm recording my videos right now. Let me see. Close panels down. Yeah. What I'm going to do is let's adjust my size a little bit here for my shot. I can scale it. Now, if you click here and you type your text, you can do that. Let's say I want it 50%. The other thing I can do is, if you notice, if I hover on there, it gives me the finger with a right and left arrow. I can click on there with my left mouse button and I can drag it, and that will let me scrub to the left or the right and just kind of visually see and set the text on that. So I have my text on there. Red stands out just fine, but what I don't like is I think it's too busy just having that overlay on my photo. So here's what I want to do. I want to add just kind of a blank rectangle box in here as a backsplash so that it makes this text a lot easier to read. So if I go into my toolbar here, I'm not going to close my Essential Graphics window. I'm just going to tuck that out of the way for a minute. I'm going to grab my rectangle tool now, and I'm going to drag a box a little bit bigger than my text box, and I'm going to cover up my text box here. I'm going to have it go all the way off the edge of my screen, and that shows up there. Now, obviously, that kind of negates the fact of having our text there. We noticed that I put that text and the box together on this establishing shot graphic page because I still had it clicked, okay? And they're both showing up together. That's perfectly fine because I want those to appear at the same time. They're going to be linked, and the only purpose of having this box is to have the text there. Now, how do I have the text on top of the box instead of in the back? That's where this pane comes in, my Essential Graphics pane. And if you notice, they are in order of top to bottom. This order follows the same pattern as it does in our timeline, top to bottom. Think of this as a pile of papers. Whatever's on top is going to be covering up everything in the bottom. So if I grab this here and I drag this down and reorder it, that puts my rectangle box underneath the words, and then it puts the text here, my establishing shot, on top. I can click this. I can grab my media selection tool using V, which is also my selection tool here, and I can move this down. And now that I have the box here, I can adjust the colors of that. I'm not really sold on these colors, and I also want to make this box slightly, I want to change the opacity to have it slightly translucent and have some light come through. So let's click on my box. Here's my shape. I'm going to rename that background box for my text. So I'm just going to call it background text box. Okay. And that's just to organize our work here a little bit better so we don't lose track of what we have in each individual scene. I'm going to, now that I have this selected here, this gives me some options down here. And here is my opacity slider. So I don't need this 100%. Let's see what it looks like. I want it mostly dark, but I want to be able to see a little bit through there. And I'm going to change my color, maybe a darker color here, darker gray with a little bit of red tint in it. And I don't like the color of my text. I think it's too bright. So I'm going to adjust that as well. So let's click on my text and just start changing it. You can change the format and font and everything else that we have here. And I'm going to make it more of a maroon color. And I'm okay leaving it the same font as before. Let's click off of that and see how that looks when that pops up. I'm going to click off of this as well. And it's a little too dark. So you're just going to go in and kind of tweak that to see what visually works for your shot. Okay. So maybe I make this a little bit brighter, a little bit more colored, and just to make it stand out. So however you feel is going to work on your individual shot, you can do that. Now, I'm going to have to readjust that because we dropped this box in and it's defaulting it to 5 seconds. Okay, I could adjust my defaults, but in reality, we'll just leave it. We're going to grab, this gives us some extra practice here. Well, we can do this just with our selection tool. If I go to the end of my clip here, I just drag that back here to the end of my establishing shots. Let's scrub our playhead. Okay, the words are there the whole time. If I want to animate that text different here, let's go like this. I'm going to go and copy paste this so I can do Control C on my keyboard. I'm going to click on video 3 here, this timeline, and let's paste it. Let's see, that did not paste where I wanted to. Let me do this. I'll move my scrub playhead here. And I'm going to enable 3 here. And let's try paste here. All right, it put the text here. What I want to do is, here's what we can do. Instead of having me rework everything, if I want to separate this, I am going to, I copied the establishment. Hold the fort. I wanted to do my graphic. I did the wrong thing here. Let's get rid of the shot. I'm going to copy and paste. Oh, let me undo. I messed up everything here. Control Shift Z. There's my establishing shot. We adjusted the length. See, I have too many things labeled establishing. Oh, here. This is the one that I want. So let's get rid of this. This is what I wanted to duplicate. So I'm just gonna right click here. Go copy and go over here, and I want to paste it. Okay. And let's go back and see that trimmed it. Oh, it's because of where my playhead was. Okay, we'll tweak that. And here is the whole method to my madness, why I wanted to do this. So let's say I want my box to pop up first. Let's scrub my playhead back to here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to delete my text. So I go on here and I'm just going to clear off my text. Boom. Then the text box pops up. And then about a half second later, I can have my words come in. Okay. We can fade these in later on. But for now, let's just get them in the scene. So that is my establishing shot. I should double check my spelling. Now we can copy and paste both of these graphics here. I'm going to go copy. I'm going to scroll forward here and let's just go here and paste it and see where it pulls in here. So that pulls it in here. I can have both of those now they're pasted and bring them here. I can paste again, slide them over and paste again and slide them over. What this is doing, this is making quick work of using the same formatting. Now I can go in and adjust this. So here I have my shots labeled, right? Establishing shot. This should say establishing shot. Okay. My next picture is long shot though. So this is where I can go in. I can change this text, double click on it here. And I am just going to change this to long shot. Okay. I can decide if I want to leave this where it was. Let's clear this. I accidentally added that. So I'm going to grab my selection tool and slide this over to the middle. If I don't want my box to be so big, that's okay. I can select my box and also kind of make it with the same margins to highlight that box. So what did I think I deleted the wrong box. So that's the only problem with having that layer on this graphic here. I have two boxes. So let's click on this graphic. I need to get rid of this text box on here. We forgot to do that. On here, we want just the background text box. On the establishing shot, we want just where it says establishing shot with the text, and we want to get rid of that. So I should have done that before I copy pasted, but it will just be organizing. So here we have the graphic text box. Here we have the text only. So let's clear this off as well. We need to do that 4 times. 1, 2, and 3. We want to keep the text and get rid of the background. So, and now we relabel these. This was long shot. Okay. I double click long shot. And we use my selection tool, move it over, click on the other graphic. We can resize this. We'll scrub our playhead over. This is going to be full shot. So let's change my text to full shot here. And we're going to move it. So I don't want to have this text box in here. I need to grab my selection tool. Let's slide this over. And that is my wife cutting firewood on one of our trips. I click on this background. Okay. And so we have an action shot for full shot. And then my last one is going to be 3/4 shot. Here's my 3/4 shot. This is us waiting outside to get into an event down in DeKalb, Illinois for a training. This one we are going to relabel. What is this? 3/4 shot. So let's double click here and wash and repeat. So hopefully you're getting the feel for this now. Here you could do your slash. You can't do that when you save a file. 3/4 shot, that's fine. And let's move them around and resize. So if you notice, that saves time by not having to re-add text and redo my box and settings every time. That also adds consistency into my project, and in a shorter time as an editor, I am able to get things up and rolling. So we'll just run through this real quick. We have our first 5 seconds with our title slide. We have our first shot show up, and it's labeled. We can move those around if we want, but our viewers are already able to know where to look for the name of that shot. So we are going to leave off here. This is a good break. Thank you for joining me in this video, and we will see you in the next one. Keep working, keep editing.